All right, Alex, thank you so much for hanging out with us today on this broadcast. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Thanks.
You're so welcome. So, Alex, tell us, what type of coaching do you do? What type of coach have you become?
Yeah, that's a good question. Become, that's the important part.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm doing leadership and performance,
great.
focusing on people's thinking and behavior. That means all performance.
That's fantastic. And are your clients loving the results they're getting?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have amazing tools in my hands. That means it's really nice to work with clients and get the
Yes.
results.
Yeah, good. And so tell us a little bit about your story. So, how long have you been with us for, first of all?
I think it's fourth year right now.
Fourth year. That's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah.
And so, if we go back into the beginning, I imagine you've changed so much over the last 4 years since you've been here. Let's go back to the start. What was life like for you when you were first deciding to become a coach? What was happening in your world? And how did you make the decision to actually say yes to coaching?
Wow, that's a great question. Going back, well, I was coaching a little bit for American company before. That means I didn't know that is a coaching, that is a thing, and I was actually doing that, and we were getting results, and I was like, wow, this is actually interesting, and I didn't have an idea if I want to continue or not, but with a business background, when I moved to Australia, I was like, well, what I'm going to do, and I didn't have any idea, honestly. I didn't have right visa. That means I couldn't find a job. And I was like, yeah, I should probably do business. And I did some volunteering and I realized that I should start to study something. Like it's great to connect, learn more English and connect with other people as well. And I was researching the coaching institutes and schools. And even though I'm not in Melbourne, I found actually coaching institute in Melbourne. And I was like, oh, I will try. I will just, that is another option, an opportunity to travel a little bit and know more about Australia. And yeah, I signed up and didn't know what to do, how to do, what is coaching exactly. And yeah, I just made that kind of decision and it just came. And I was like, I'm going to try.
So, what was it about the experience you had with us that gave you enough to be able to say, okay, I'm actually going to make a decision and go with these guys? What was that?
I remember actually my first calls with Fiona. I don't think she's working there anymore, but she
Yeah,
was amazing. Like she was just having amazing conversation with me all the time because I'm that kind of person that can't make decisions straight away.
right,
I need 3 times, 4 time convincer, or how we call them.
right.
And she talked to me so many times, explained all how that works, and I was like, yeah, I still don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
And I loved her. Like she really helped me so much because she opened up that conversation that how I can actually like grow personally. Growth doesn't need to
yes.
be like I want to do coaching, and I was like, that's a great idea. And it was probably first thing because I was going through IVFs and I was really down, and she just said all those things, and I was like, that's great, that's the way that I need to go, like that's my journey because I need help myself. And I guess that was, yeah, when I say yes.
Yeah, good on you. And so, what was it that you needed help with yourself? I know that I think pretty much everyone that joins the school, it's not everyone, but I'd say the vast majority, we join because we want to learn something for ourselves. You know, we want to help others and we want the tools, but there's so much missing in our normal education system about how to live a happy, fulfilled, meaningful life. What was it for you? What was it where you were like, you know what, this is the part of me that I want to improve?
Uh, Definitely, that's right. We always want to change. It has to be something inside. And I wasn't like, I had like ups and downs. And my up was like, you're limitless. You can do everything what you want. And, you're young, you're trying, you're traveling, amazing life. But usually after that, something happened that stopped us or pause us. And I had really big, huge setback. And it was actually a few months, maybe years, because I was going through the journey and I wasn't becoming a nice person. I wasn't me. I didn't know. I didn't have any idea what happened, but I wasn't happy anymore. I was sad. I struggled. I started to
What
don't
was the
like people.
setback that you had?
Sorry, setback. I had ectopic pregnancy, and I basically after that, they gave me some injections, and basically I lost like half of my hair. It was kind of like a chemo, and I was going down, and I couldn't move from the bed, and they said that I can't have kids anymore, like natural way, and it was it's shock for every woman, like everyone, and family as well, you know. And it was shock for my partner, and it was crazy. And I became crazy because I was starting the IVF journey. That means probably you know something about that, is the hormones, and yeah. And that put me really down, and I didn't trust myself. I lost self-confidence. I thought I can't even speak English, I can't get ever job. I was totally different person. And my partner was actually, I realized that he's a mirror. Like, he was going depressed, he put on the weight. And one day I was just like, I'm listening all those videos and recordings from courses, and I was like, that's me. I think that was in some videos from Sharon's or from you. And that was like, I'm actually mirror. I'm him. Like, he's actually projecting what I'm doing and how sad I am.
Right.
And I realized that not him has to change, or I can't change him, but I have to change myself.
Right.
And that was probably the biggest thing that I realized from the trainings. It's all about thoughts. It was my story, and it became so big, so huge, that I didn't feel like there's a place for me on earth.
Wow.
And yeah, I can't even explain it, but now I'm like, I'm back, you know, and that's amazing.
I love it.
I'm back.
Wow. So in that moment, when you decided to get started as a coach and you decided to say yes to yourself, coming from such a dark place and a place of despair, you know, a place where you were starting to really feel like you don't belong, like I can't even really imagine what it would have been like for you to have gone through that. But I can understand that it would have been horrible. It would have been so hard. When you said, you know what, I'm going to learn about me because I need to turn this one around, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people go through major problems, but then they stay victims, right? Like, bad stuff happens to a lot of us, but then a lot of people they let that define them and they stay like that. What did you do in your mindset for you to say, well, okay, yes, this has happened, and yes, it's bad, but I'm going to change my mindset because I'm not going to live like that, and I'm going to create something. How did you do that?
I guess first thing that I realized, I think when you mentioned that thought, you are just one thought away from success,
Yes.
that was the first thing that I was like, wow,
That is powerful. We're only one
that's
thought away.
so powerful, because it's so true.
Yes.
It's everything in our head. And I started to think, when you say that on the training, I was like, okay, it's something on that. I need to realize what was happening when I was happy. And I started to listen more, like cause and effect, and just all those thinking patterns and mindset. And I realized that I was victim. I was blaming everyone. I even hate, you know, hate was not the word that I would ever use, but I was using those words, and I was angry, and I became even jealous. But I'm not a jealous person.
Right.
And it was all because I wasn't self-confident, because I lost myself.
Right.
That means all those, you know, projecting all those behaviors. I didn't like myself. I didn't like it.
Right.
And I was like, no, this has to change. And I started probably looking at it like what I was thinking before when I was happy. And I was thinking everything is possible, everything. I can do everything in the world.
Right.
But I didn't think that. I was like, how I can start to think that? And it's so hard, but I was still like on the walks, you know, I had those like dark thoughts, but I was thinking, okay, change one thought, change one thing. And I was like, okay, what I want to do. And I started to focus on what I want to do later on. And it's probably something that you need to change one thought at a time. It's pretty hard, you know, like change in one day. It took me probably 5 months to really work, really get into study. And I guess what was also changed.
When you first started, so it's like when you first enrolled, the first 5 months were pretty much like healing in a way. Is that what you would say?
Yeah, when I first enrolled, that like basically I cut my study for a while, because that was when all setbacks, everything happened, and I kind of stopped to be connected with the world. But the coaching institute community helped me to understand that they're all happy, why they are so happy, why they're so supportive, why they really try to help me. Like, I need to be able to help myself, and I reconnect, and I realize that you can't really get something or get all those gifts and support when you don't give. And it was big because I started to give, I started to connect with people, and I started to just help with a post or calls or emails, or I met someone and I was like, you know what, I actually know what to do, because I felt the same. And it became natural, and it's all because that kind of pressure of the community, because it's so positive, so nice, that you feel like you belong. And I think that's most important part of that, because I felt like I don't belong before anywhere. I was in Australia with no family, no friends. All those things happened, and I couldn't even, cry on my mom's shoulder or talk to my dad, because there was time difference and it was pretty hard.
Wow.
But yeah, but definitely it's great to have those people around. Like,
Yes.
community of coaches, they're amazing people, and they're all here to help. And I guess that was the change.
I love your story so much. I love the part of this where you said that you worked out that you needed to start giving what you wanted. Right? I think that's a major code to life. Is you want more positivity, then go make someone positive.
Exactly.
Feel part of it, then go give something. And it's one of the things that I love about you is you are so giving and caring, and it just tends to come naturally. And I love, thank you for sharing your story, because you were in such a dark place that was so the opposite of this. And it's interesting that when we get to a point of our lives when we feel, when we start to self-loathe and we say, I don't like me, then that is projected outward. And it's like, well, actually, I don't like you, and I don't like everyone around you. And then you never feel like you belong. And so I'm glad that you found a place here with us, because now you're helping everyone else in the community feel like they belong. What has been the thing in your coaching business that you are the most proud of, that you've achieved since you started here and you've been doing this education? What's the thing in your business, if it be presentations or helping people? What is it that you love the most?
Oh, that's everything.
It's really hard.
It's really hard to pick up, but I will probably try. This year, I did a lot of trainings. Like this year, I really, really upskilled a lot. And what I love, that change would happen when I was starting. I started to coach, I started to talk to people, try to help them. And I wasn't sure what I'm doing. Like beginning, you know how it is. Like we need to have some hours, we need to train, we have to have experience. But I think I pick up finally the right trainings. And I saw that instead of having 1 hour of coaching, I can have 15-minute coaching or 10 minutes coaching, and actually client is crying because they experience breakthrough, because they are happy. And that's a huge thing.
Congratulations. Alex, you've achieved so much over the last 4 years, to come from the stuckness that you had before you started, and to have created a community of people that you love, to be now someone who's giving back to that community. And this interview, it's going to inspire people. Like that's it. It's important to think about, right? This interview is going to inspire other people to say, thank you, Alex. And that's going to change their lives. What would you say to someone who's watching this, they're inspired, but they're considering joining the Coaching Institute and becoming a coach themselves?
I will say, don't wait. The right time is always now, and just join.
Thank you, Alex. It's been a pleasure having you here with us.
Thank you very much. Thanks. My pleasure.